School holidays arrive with Casper the Ghost.
With the animated romance of the Swan Princess.
And with the futuristic action of Tank Girl.
Good evening.
Hi.
We'll be catching up with Naomi Watts for her story of life in Hollywood with Tank Girl.
And we're looking at the making of another Australian film, That Eye the Sky, the one based on Tim Winton's novel, which is being featured at both the Sydney and Melbourne film festivals. But first, knock knock, who's there?
Dad, I saw a ghost. It was a real ghost. It was a real
Slow down.
ghost.
What are you saying?
I saw a ghost. And it had a head and it was round and it was white and see-through and...
Honey, wait a minute now, maybe...
Dad, please, do not think I'm as crazy as I thought you were. I promise.
No, but remember, ghosts can't hurt you, okay? They're simply spirits with unfinished business, all right? Let's just see about this ghost, all right? Come here, come on. Over here, check here. Oh, see? No ghost there. And then we can check over here, right? Oh! No, there's no ghost in there. We can even check over here. There. See?
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Whipstaff Manor is haunted, seriously haunted. Even that famous Ghostbuster Dan Aykroyd, in one of this film's many celebrity cameos, doesn't want to be called, not to exercise this place. But James Harvey, Bill Pullman, is willing to take a risk. He's a self-styled ghost therapist who refers to ghosts as the living impaired. But he's really trying to find the spirit of his beloved wife, who died sometime earlier. He's hired to exorcise Whipstaff by its new owner, the repulsive Carrigan, Kathy Moriarty, who inherited the place from her father, who had sensibly left most of his money to help endangered species, rather than to his formidable daughter. Carrigan and her friend, Eric Idle, are certain there's hidden treasure in the old mansion. Dr. Harvey and his young daughter, Kat, Christina Ricci, discover that Whipstaff is full of ghosts, the aggressive Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso, and the friendly Casper.
Good morning.
Casper!
Okay.
I feel like Oprah on hiatus.
You look like Oprah on hiatus. You know what the problem is? Casper's got no respect for us.
After all we've done for the little glow worm.
Yeah. Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing, baldhead? This floor used to be dirty enough to eat off of.
But we have company.
Oh, yeah? Well, company loves misery. Boom!
You guys are disgusting, obnoxious creeps.
Thank you.
Well, this lavishly produced movie is, of course, based on the old cartoon series, and with Steven Spielberg as one of the executive producers, it strives to appeal to as wide an audience as possible. Youngsters who might like the idea of a ghost for a friend, early teens in the first flush of romance, and their parents and grandparents who can relish the same kind of in-jokes and sophisticated humour the Disney people have injected into their recent cartoons. Clever, occasionally funny, and rather well acted, the film's let down by some turgid sentiment in the last reel. But on the whole, Casper's a fun film the entire family can enjoy. Margaret, were you spooked?
No, I wasn't spooked, but I think I was charmed. I had a real thing by the end of the film about Casper's eyebrows. I was totally entranced by them. I think the animation's been really cleverly done and really well sort of brought into the live action. I think Bill Pullman's lovely. I think the performances generally, little
good,
Christina Ricci, is it?
Yes.
Is also good. She's got a face like it's been drawn by an animator, I find.
And lots of interesting guest stars,
yes,
making brief appearances.
Yes, I love the incarnations of Stretch, Stinky and Fatso. We'll leave that for the audience to discover themselves. But generally speaking, I think it's a charming film with lots of fun and, as you say, suitable for a wide audience. And I'd give it 3.5 stars. It's another one of my many 3.5-star films lately.
Well, I'll give it 3.5 stars too. I agree with you.
So clever. Casper opens nationally tomorrow. Now, it's interesting to find out what happened behind the scenes of this production. In town at the moment are Casper producer Colin Wilson and the film's director Brad Silberling, the latest Spielberg discovery.
He had seen some television that I directed. Stephen, being a man who started in television himself at a young age, could really, he feels he's quite discerning, and he is, about the efforts you put into television and what comes out of it. He just serendipitously saw a repeat of a show I'd done called Brooklyn Bridge, which was a lovely show that didn't last long in the States, that Gary Goldberg produced. Stephen saw an episode rerun one night because it happened to be after E.T. was on the air. So he was obviously watching his end credits, I guess, or something. And he saw the show and made some phone calls. Something moved him about the show. And he called me in to meet, and I met with him. And he said very rabbinically, "Do you know why I wanted to meet you?" And I said, "I have no idea." And he said, "Well, I saw your show, and I could see that you were trying to make a movie, even with those resources and with that much time." And he said, "I'd like to be able to really do that with you." And he explained what the picture was to me, and I thought he was out of his mind. I had no background in special effects, no background in character animation. And he sat and patiently listened to me go off, and he said, I know. He said, "But what you do and what you are is what this film needs. You will learn the rest. I had to, on Jurassic Park a year and a half ago with the technology. You will too." I did take Stephen's word to heart, which is trust that what you have is what you need to have and what you know. So if the ghosts weren't there on screen, I had to so clearly picture them and preconceive them that to me they were there. And my job as a director was just to communicate that to everybody else. Even your poor camera operator had to leave always enough space for the ghost who wasn't there. And if he blew it, within 2 weeks it was great. He'd switch off the camera and say, I missed him, sorry. And we all had to be under this collective delusion that they were really there on set with us.
Oh, and it looks as if we're gonna go into sudden death overtime.
Anybody for a little shishka dog?
I am.
There were those skeptics out there, most definitely, when we were making the movie, because some people class Casper as kind of he was quoted as a B-rate kind of cartoon character. He wasn't up there with the Tom and Jerry's and those guys, So he was like on a second tier, and I think the technology has helped us to sell the audience on the fact that these ghost characters are physically, they're there with those other live-action characters.
There's a girl on my bed. Yes.
We've seen computer-generated characters before in a movie, but we've never seen what I classify as performance animation coming from a three-dimensional CG model. That was extremely labor-intensive. Even on a weekly basis, Brad and I would be jumping on the plane to San Francisco to work with an extensive animation team that was based out of Industrial Light and Magic. We, at our peak, I think, had around 150 people working on the show.
It was a bit daunting. At times I called myself Minutia Man, because I was dealing in a specificity that, while it would seem like a director's dream, you have no actors, you simply are manipulating, a puppet of sorts. It's very exhausting, and ultimately all you're waiting for at the end of the day is, oh, please give me an actor, give me somebody to come in and bring me gifts and not have to do everything myself.
That was Brad Silberling and Colin Wilson from Casper. Well, with the school holidays having either started or about to start all around Australia, there are a couple of family films that are worth looking at. One is the animated feature The Swan Princess, a completely hand-drawn film about a princess abducted and turned into a swan by an evil wizard with the voice of Jack Palance. Her friends at her pond prison are Jean Bob, a French frog who believes he's really a prince, voiced brilliantly by John Cleese, Speed, a turtle, voiced by Stephen Wright, and a rather bossy Puffin. Director Richard Rich is a former Disney animator, and his origins show. This is a sweet film that I think will appeal to quite, dare I say, girls without being sexist. And I think Far From Home will most probably appeal to young boys. It's about a teenager, Angus, who's stranded during a storm at sea on the wild, deserted coast of Canada. Fortunately, he's not alone. He has his yellow dog with him. This is a surprisingly realistic film, not sensationalist at all, about Angus's exploits and about his family's anguish at the possibility of losing him. A very good cast includes Jesse Bradford from King of the Hill, Mimi Rogers and Bruce Davison, with young Joel Palmer scene stealing as Angus's younger brother. I'd give both these films 3.5 stars, not quite 4s, but better than 3s.
Yes, and a sad postscript to Far From Home is that the Australian-born, Canadian-based director Philip Borsis died quite recently. This was his last film. Well, when John Ruane's film of That Eye, the Sky was being shot in Victoria, the movie show went out on location. The film's currently receiving a baptism of fire at the Sydney and Melbourne film festivals, and we thought the time was right to feature the making of this film on the show tonight.
This project began with me reading Tim Winton's book and falling in love with it, and I think Tim Winton's one of those writers, when you read his works, for me anyway, the movie camera starts turning in my head. It's so visual and so poetic, and when I read the book, I immediately wanted to do it as a film.
Like Death in Brunswick was also difficult to describe, this one is too, because it's got a large section of science fiction with this cloud, this light that hovers above the house. It has a lot of messages about Christianity in it. It's a drama, it's a weepy, it has a little bit of black comedy, and it's also got the pitfall, which can be a pitfall, of centering it all on a young boy. But Jamie Croft, who plays Ort, he actually makes it work, because he's extraordinary in the way he can know his lines, do the pauses, fantastic eyes, and you can just watch him. You know, even when people are saying other lines, you can watch his face.
Can you see it? I'm afraid I can't see your light anywhere. It's there. It's all around you. I can't see it, but I believe you do.
Well, Ort's had meningitis and has seen the light. And then his dad's in a car accident and he sees sort of the same light. So he's thinking, he doesn't actually know about God. He thinks that this light, he doesn't know it's God. But then what happens is that Henry comes, who's a preacher, and tells him about God, so then Ort relates it to the light that's God.
Ort's belief in the miracle manifesting itself is quite wonderful. I think that the concept of the power of love that is expressed in this film is one of the things I really like about it. Sometimes I wonder how this whole thing is going to end.
You'll survive. Love has no boundaries, they say.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
I don't know, I'm just waxing a little lyrical tonight, I suppose. Forgive me.
What was the attraction of making this film?
Well, at first it was Australia. I mean, the opportunity to come to Australia. Fred Skepsey called me up and we get on very well, and he just asked me to meet Peter Bilby and John Ruane. I said, I'll see you for an hour, and we wound up spending 3 days together. And then I just loved the script, really, really loved it, and called my agent and just said, make it happen. I love the struggle to have faith. Some people have faith and it's an easy faith, they don't have to question it. And some people have to struggle and fight for every inch of ground. And I suppose I'm like that, and I like people that have to do that.
Your love is terrible! Your gentleness is a blow! Your patience is a judgment! Your silence is thundering around me!
I like working with adults. I learn a lot from them.
You are amazed that Henry can play the piano so well.
Yeah.
The only time you ever heard it play is by Tegwin playing those old songs of Grandma.
Okay.
So just give us a little pat of air.
Maybe he could have a line like, what a genius.
No, thanks.
No?
John's told me that movie acting is a lot different to TV acting, and he says you have to tone things down for the big screen. And I didn't really know how to do that at the beginning, and he's helped me a lot with it.
Just take it down a little bit, bring it up a little bit, a little more, a little pause, all those things. You know, if you've written the lines or you've adapted them from the book, because there's a lot of Tim Winton's dialogue in this, then because when you're writing it, you're really directing it because you're playing all the roles, you're reading all the characters to yourself. So when actors come to say the stuff, sometimes you've already heard the rhythm of it in your head. So when people do it slightly differently, the trouble is that you can recognise it might be not what you want, but it's finding the words to tell them how they should do it. Or, you know, or many times they tell you a different way, which is better. But, yeah, I think the word for directing is rhythms.
I could teach you a few tunes if you like.
No, thanks.
Well, what you do know will sound better now anyway.
Cut.
Sorry.
Well, at least what you do know.
I left that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, going again.
John is really funny. He's very quiet and very self-effacing, and he makes lots of jokes about his ineptness. But he's not inept at all. He's very precise, and he knows when he has it, and he manifests a kind of calm control on the set by not controlling. He sets a tone.
Or is there a boogie woogie or something you can do?
Oh yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
The most magical process is the acting process. How people have the gall, the gumption to stand in front of a lens and be somebody else without noticing that there's all these people staring at them. I still, sometimes when we're doing the takes and that, I try, sometimes I get too embarrassed to look at the actor's eyes because I think if they see me or I, you know, see them, that they'll break the magic spell.
Oh, that's a project really dear to my heart because I love the book and I can't wait to see the film.
Yes, me too. Well, now, let's see what else has been happening in the film world lately. In news of Australian filmmakers, Simon Windsor is in final negotiations to direct The Phantom, the adaptation of Lee Falk's cult comic. It'll star Billy Zane as the ghost who walks.
And Philip Noyce is set to direct The Saint in early 1996 with Ralph Fiennes playing Simon Templar.
In the money-making stakes, Jim Carrey, the comedy star who was paid $450,000 for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 18 months ago, has been promised $20 million to star in the Columbia TriStar comedy Cable Guy.
And the Dendy Awards for Australian short films were Best Documentary, Eternity by Lawrence Johnston, Best Short Fiction, A Modest Proposal by Lawson Bailey, Audacious by Samantha Lang won Best Fiction over 25 minutes, and Food for Thought, 3 Ingredients from the Mass Consumer Diet by director Daniel Crook won in the general category. The Ethnic Affairs Commission of New South Wales Award went to 50 Years of Silence by Ned Lander, Carol Ruff and James Bradley. The Yoram Gross Animation Award was won by Robert Stevenson for Redback. And the Reuben Mamoulian Award went to Martin Daly for his film Something to Sing About.
And that's all the news on the movie show this week. Finally tonight, get geared up. We're riding into the future with Tank Girl.
Just how many of my men did you kill?
8, sir.
8, the burning 8. Between Sunday and Monday hangs a day so dark it will devastate.
Let's do it.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Look, you want to torture me? Spank me, lick me, do it. But if this poetry shit continues, just shoot me now, please.
Well, it's 2033 and the world's a dry place. It hasn't rained for a long time. Water is a scarce resource. It's life, it's power, and most of it is controlled by a conglomerate known as WP, run by the ruthless Kesley, another evil incarnation of Malcolm McDowell. Rebecca Buck is part of a renegade group that steals water. She is an in-your-face, fast-talking, smart-ass girl, and nothing much changes after she's taken prisoner by Kesley and tortured by him. While she's working as slave labour in WP's mines, she meets up with a techno-nerd who blossoms from her acquaintance with Rebecca. A few stolen pieces of Kesley's equipment, and you get Tank Girl and Jet Girl, but the most bizarre is yet to come. The two girls encounter yet another group of renegades. These are the Rippers, mutant leftovers that are part human, part kangaroo.
How much did they pay you to spy on us?
$2.15.
Shut up.
You should go easy on the truth serum. You might send him off.
Hey.
On second thought, that could be to our advantage.
That's good. I'm tired of asking them questions anyway. I say we kill him.
I say we hump him.
I say we get crumpets and tea.
Tasty. Crumpets and tea. All in favor of crumpets and tea, say aye.
Aye. Shut up. Ain't gonna be no crumpets and tea. We're gonna take them outside right now and waste them.
I think they're nice. I say we let them go.
Let them go? They're spies. I'm gonna kill them myself. Well,
This is such an eccentric, chaotic and, yes, nonsensical film, and yet it has a wonderful energy. It's got the guts not to play it safe, thanks to director Rachel Talalay, who got lessons in eccentricity from her days producing John Waters films. Laurie Petty is so sassy as Tank Girl, she's great, and Naomi Watts is an impressive jet girl. The design crew also deserve a nod. There's great humour in the creations of the costume and makeup departments. Tank Girl's got cult written all over it, but I think it's got a chance of appealing to quite a broad audience. It's fun, weird, but fun. David?
Yeah, look, I have to confess, I took an afternoon off from the film festival to go and see this, and halfway through I thought, what am I doing here? I mean, this is a film for teenagers, really.
Yes.
And when I was a teenager, a long time ago, we went to see James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause and thought we were really far out.
I think that's a little bit snot-nosed of you,
I don't think it's snot-nosed. I just suddenly got sick. I'd seen Casper a few days before and I thought, what am I doing sitting through all these comic things? I mean, actually, the cartoon, the Roy Lichtenstein type cartoons were the best part of this. I couldn't stand Laurie Petty. I'm sick to death of Malcolm McDowell doing that.
Yeah, he is a bit boring, I
thought
must say.
Naomi Watts was very good, actually.
I love
really
Laurie Petty.
promising...
I love the rippers. I love those kangaroo creatures.
I got very tired of them.
Oh, no. There are just elements to this that I think is very clever. What's your score for this?
Well, obviously, I wasn't in the right mood for this. I'll give it 1.5.
No, you weren't. It was much more fun than that. It's a 3.5 film again.
Another.
Feeling a little inadequate?
Well, Naomi Watts, who's English-born and Australian-educated, starred in Flirting and Gross Misconduct here before deciding to take the plunge in America a couple of years ago. I spoke to her recently about the realities of making a name for yourself in Hollywood.
Not having worked for a while, sure, I wanted to work. I was ready. I wasn't in a position to pick and choose. But having said that, there was something that was very unique about this script. It was different, you know. Certainly, I mean, I read quite often anything from 3 to 15 scripts a week, you know, and it really did. You know, it was not like anything that you would read out there.
You are going to listen to me for once. You're going to shut your default face and you're going to let me do my stuff. Have you got that?
Aye. Let's do it.
Did you have to audition?
Oh, God, yeah, 9 times.
9 times?
Yeah, it was pretty
And so
torturous.
what, with a decreasing number of people?
Yeah, I don't know what the amount of people was in total, but I know it was a lot, and it went over a good, like, couple of months before they made the decision. And there were names, you know, as well. The studio always wanted a name. But it was really hard. I mean, every time I would go to the next audition, I just didn't know what was the reaction, because I'd wait and get this phone call and they'd say, well, they loved you, but they want you to come back. I'm like, just give me the role, you know?
Okay. We're gonna give you chicks a chance to prove yourself. Call it an initiation. You fail, you die.
Yeah, but first, you gotta strip.
That's not in the plan.
Why not?
What happened in the movie and in making the movie was I arrived very shy, not ever having worked on a big American movie before. Laurie was very sensitive towards that. She was aware of it, and she was always looking out for me. You know, she knew that I was perhaps too shy to ask someone to go and get me a glass of water or get me, you know, do something for me or whatever it was. And she always used to go, "Girl, get them to do that for you. They do it, you know. And she would always be making sure that I was okay. And I guess by the end of the movie, not only had my character grown and become more like Laurie, but perhaps I did, well, not, you know, so much, but I definitely became stronger and more assertive.
Talented, isn't she?
What has Tank Girl done for your career?
What it's done is opened up a lot of doors. In America right now, I'm getting called in for projects, A-list projects, that would have been a lot harder in the past for me to get in the door. You have to go through a whole succession of people before you get to the director and the producers and the execs. And I've had a lot of calls from agents, from big, powerful agents, saying, you know, are you happy with representation? And it's actually amazing what just having your name on a studio movie does. It's fickle, but it works.
Naomi Watts, who's very good in the film, and Tank Girl is currently screening nationally. Next week, we talk to Johnny Depp and Tim Burton about Ed Wood.
And to Hal Hartley about his new film, Amateur.
And from next week, the movie show can be seen in its new time slot of 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, with a repeat on Sunday afternoon at 3:30.
We hope you'll join us then or then. For now, good night.
Good night.
Far longer than forever. Far longer than forever. I swear that I'll be true. I swear that I'll be true. I've made an everlasting vow to find a way to you.